If you're working a premium shift, a shift that's in those odd hours, that 12 to 8, that 10 to 6, those weird nighttime shifts where you're not at home with your family, or even an afternoon shift where you're making all these different sacrifices for the extra money, then this video is for you, because this is designated to all my premium shift workers. I literally just started working the premium shift, the midnight shift. I really just kind of wanted to come on here and talk about how you should be taking advantage of the additional pay that you're getting, especially since you're making a huge sacrifice for your company or for your agency, wherever you work. It's because you're making this huge sacrifice for them so they can have someone to work the midnight shift or the afternoon shift, because they need people 24/7 around the clock. We should be taking advantage of the additional money that we get, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. And what we can do is take advantage of this extra income. So first, I want to talk about the real cost of shift work. First of all, if you're not taking advantage of this extra income, then you're losing twice. You're losing because you're not becoming more financially stable, more financially free from your job, and you're also losing because you're making a lot of sacrifices, like I said earlier. You're not just working your job, but you're fighting your body. Our bodies are not used to working at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, but you do it so you can make extra money. And I see nothing wrong with that. But you also need to take advantage of this. Also, your sleep is worse. It can be very difficult to sleep, especially in the summertime when things are going on and you have to be at work at 10 o'clock at night or at 12 o'clock at night. You're sacrificing your eating habits. When I first started this midnight shift, it was kind of difficult to get that sleep thing down. I think I kind of have it now. I get my sleep back like midway through the week, and then I have the weekend and I'm staying up till 11 at night and going back to sleep, and it's back on a normal time. So I have to then start all over. So I really never get a solid 8 hours of sleep. Your body should get 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep, but when you're working those premium shifts, body's not getting that. I have to literally break my sleep up because I go to sleep when I get home from work, and then I'm awake and I go back to sleep a few hours before I go to work. So I never really get that deep sleep, but I do think I get enough sleep. And then eating. So I kind of start to dial down how much I need to eat, when I need to eat. I don't really eat much on my shift, but if I were to work the day shift, I would eat a normal lunch. When it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't know if I really want to eat rice, chicken, and beans. So your eating habits are also sacrificed. And then it's also harder to work out. So you might see yourself starting to get some kind of belly, or you may start gaining weight because you're literally working when you should be sleeping. And then when you get off, you could be extra tired, but you have to push through if you want to work out. You may not want to work out because you have all this stuff going on. And by the time you get home, your family could just be waking up and they want some of your time, and then you just have no time for yourself. So you're not being able to work out. And also your social life can take a hit. You're working when everyone is going out, or you're about to go to work when everyone's going out. So you really can't go out. You have to be home by 7 o'clock. You have to be home by 8 o'clock because you have work in the early morning. You have work at 12 o'clock. So you can't really hang out. You can't really go to the movies. And then on your off days, you really only have like one full day of not working. There's a lot of sacrifices you have to make, and I know you guys all know that, especially anyone that's watching this video that is a midnight worker. I know there's a lot of jobs out there that require midnight workers. So hopefully some people are watching this video for we want to take advantage of the extra income, so we're not out here wasting our time and having to be on midnights for the rest of our lives. There's a pay differential trap. Extra pay feels like a reward. It feels like, oh, you know, I'm getting paid more than the day shift person, but this is actually just compensation for you working that extra shift. It's not an extra reward. It's not, thank you so much for working this shift. We really needed you. Someone's gonna pick the shift anyways because they need the extra money. This money is supposed to offset the sacrifice. This extra money that you're getting, whether that's 10%, 15%, 20%, it's supposed to offset the sacrifice. So because you're coming at this time, we're gonna pay you $5 more for your shift, $10 more for your shift. I don't know for a fact, but leave a comment down below if you or you know someone that's working a premium shift and they have inflated their lifestyle. This is the worst thing you could do. It's almost like inflating your lifestyle when you make overtime. It's basically the same thing. We cannot inflate our lifestyles just because we are working a premium shift. Because guess what? You may not want to work this premium shift for the rest of your life. So if you inflate your lifestyle, and this is the biggest problem here, if you inflate your lifestyle to a point where you cannot work days any longer, then that is an issue. You now have a family. You have 2, 3, 4 kids, a wife at home. You want to go to events and you want to actually be able to kind of have the energy throughout the day to hang out with your family. Even on your off days, you're freaking tired and you actually want to have the energy to hang out with your family at 6 o'clock p.m. Or you actually want to have the energy to hang out with your family for breakfast time. You're not going to be able to do that because you have inflated your lifestyle to the point where you actually need this $5 to $10 an hour to survive. Example, people on the midnight shift, maybe they buy a nicer car. So now you have a nicer car. You cannot afford to not have that extra money. So you have to now stay on the midnight shift and make all those sacrifices that we talked about before. They sound pretty bad, right? You have to make all those sacrifices for a longer time or potentially forever, for 20 years. Imagine 20 years working midnight shift. You're sacrificing all these things every single year, and you're still out here buying nice cars. You're still out here eating more. You're still going on more vacations because you're making more money. And I almost fell for this trap. I'm like, shoot, I make 20% more working the midnight shift. Wow, I can go buy a nicer house. But I don't want to work the midnight shift forever. I am a day shift person. I like to work the days. I don't mind waking up early in the morning, and I enjoy getting off at 2 or 4 or 5, whatever time it is, hanging out with the family, being able to put my child down at night, watch them and all kind of things like that, and then still have that energy for the afternoon. For when I get off of work, I don't have to go to sleep. I can still go to sleep at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then be ready, be back to work, and have that energy. But with this midnight shift, I'm lacking energy. Like throughout the day, even on my off day, 7 o'clock p.m. comes around, I'm tired. When 12 o'clock p.m. comes around, I'm tired. So I have to take a nap. It's fine now because we have a 1-year-old who takes naps around that time. So I'm not really missing much. When he gets older and he wants to go outside and play, and daddy's gonna be just super tired because he has to work the midnight shift because he inflated his lifestyle. All right, guys, we had to switch locations, but the message is still the same. So what should you be doing instead of just spending your money on anything when it comes to that extra money that you make from working the night shift? Because like I said, we're making sacrifices with our body. Sacrifices are being made in every section of our lives here. So what should we be doing with this money? First, we should be paying off debt. Only reason you should go on night shift is to make extra money, to save, to pay off debt, or to invest more money. If you cannot invest, maybe working the day shift. Maybe night shift actually works best for your family. Like honestly, working the night shift works best for my family because we have a young baby. So I can be home during the day and I can nap when he naps, and then I go to sleep when he goes to sleep because I go to sleep early. The first thing that we need to be doing if we're working the night shift is paying off our debt. We are making potentially $500, maybe $1,000 more, maybe $200, however much more you're making. You have to get that breakdown as well. You have to know how much more you're bringing in, but we should be paying off debts with that money. We cannot factor this money into our daily living expenses because when we're done working the night shift, when we want to go back to days, we can't because we aren't making as much as we were making before. So we should be paying off debt first. And then we want to build our emergency fund. If you don't have your emergency fund built, this is the perfect moment. This is the perfect opportunity to build your emergency fund because we're making more money. So with more money comes more opportunities to build your emergency fund, to pay off debt, and to also invest. We can now invest way more money into the stock market, invest way more money into ourselves, invest more money into real estate. And by doing specifically those 3 things, we avoid adding this money to our daily budget. We avoid adding this money to the grocery haul. We avoid adding this money to going out to eat, or adding this money to being able to afford our rent or afford our house. So when we go back to the day shift, we can actually still afford those things because we didn't inflate our lifestyle. And that's the 4th thing you want to do, which is to avoid lifestyle creep. Avoid lifestyle creep like it's the Black Plague. Some lifestyle creep is okay. Hey, you're making more money, you're sacrificing. You also might want to have some fun with that money, but recognize that lifestyle creep is a real thing, and if you're not managing it, then you could really fall into a deep trap of debt, a deep trap of having to stay on this night shift for potentially your entire career, or having to find a job that pays more money or pays the equal amount of money as you were making on night shift, which is not always super easy. So you should be doing those things in that order. Paying off debt, build your emergency fund. Once your emergency fund is built, then we want to invest a lot of money. But we also don't wait too long to invest money. So try to keep your expenses as low as possible. You can get that emergency fund of maybe $5,000 saved up, maybe emergency fund for a month or something, and invest some and then save some towards the emergency fund because we want to get our money invested as soon as possible. So the wealth strategy that we kind of want to put in play for shift workers, for those people that especially that work the midnight shift, for those premium shifts, is to treat your midnight shift money or your afternoon shift, whatever it is, as if it's temporary income. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. It's temporary income. Because you may not be able to work the midnight shift forever. Maybe y'all have some kind of bid or something and you get bumped off of that shift. Now you have to go to days. You already inflated your lifestyle to a point where you can't even go back to days. So treat it as temporary income. And a good way that you can do that is by automating that extra money. And this is the real hack. This is the key to how to avoid lifestyle inflation when you're on the midnight shift, so you don't have to work the midnight shift, make all those sacrifices for the rest of your life. life or for the next 10 years. And this was the first thing I did when I got on a midnight shift is I bumped my 401k up by about $50. It was already kind of high. I was like, let me bump this thing up by $50. And then I automated the extra money to go straight to my savings account. So I still operate with the same amount of money for my daily expenses, for the groceries, for the gas, for the going out to eat, for the entertainment. I still operate with those daily expenses in my checking account. Like the same amount of money that I was spending on the day shift, I'm still spending that on the midnight shift. But you have to get a breakdown of how much money you're actually taking home working midnight so you can know exactly what to do with it and where to put it. So here's the harsh truth. You cannot out-earn bad decisions. If you're working the midnight shift or the afternoon shift, whatever it is, if you're working this midnight shift and you're making all these sacrifices for your health, your sleep, your eating habits, all these different sacrifices, and you're not building wealth while doing that, then you're losing. If you didn't automatically go and bump up your 401k by 5% or potentially by 10%, like this is the perfect time to boost your retirement. This is the perfect time to boost your savings. You don't even have savings, but you're now making 20% more, 15% more. This is the perfect opportunity to boost those savings. And if you're not doing that, then you're playing a losing game. So here's your simple game plan. Here's your recap. This is what you should be doing. If you are working the midnight shift, you need to avoid lifestyle creep. Again, you're getting paid temporarily more money. Maybe you love working midnights. Maybe you love working midnights. You like being tired throughout the day, or maybe you're not tired throughout the day. I don't know, but we want to avoid lifestyle creep. Then we want to make sure that every dollar has a purpose. We need to know how much more money we're taking home for this midnight shift. Do your own calculations. If it's very important to you, you will get this number. I'm not going to break down the number. I'm not going to break down how I do it. I mean, it's easy, but if it's important to you, then you're going to know how much extra you're bringing home every single month or every single paycheck. We're gonna make sure that those dollars are assigned to places that help build wealth. Make sure those dollars are assigned to paying off debt, building an emergency fund, or investing into yourself, or investing in the stock market, investing in real estate, whatever is your thing. We're gonna make sure that those dollars are invested. And then we wanna invest that money consistently. If you really want to work the midnight shift so you can invest more money, that's a great thing to do, because you will be financially free. You will be ahead of potentially a lot of the workers on the day shift because you're making more money. You have to have this shift in mindset if you want to make the midnight pay worth it. Let me know what you guys think about that. Are you working the midnight shift? Are you taking advantage of the boosted income, of the boosted percentage of income that you're making for that midnight shift? Or are you just wasting it on things that don't even matter? Do you even know how much more money you take home every single paycheck or every single month working the midnight shift? If not, you need to find out that number, and you need to do well and do right with that money. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully this was some kind of motivation for you guys that are working the midnight shift to realize that this is an amazing opportunity. You're making so much more money than someone else at the same job doing the same exact thing, but you're just working a different shift. And if you have this sleep thing down and the family life thing down, and you're literally enjoying midnight shift, then there's no excuse for why you should not be investing more and more money. Why you should not be investing potentially half of that boosted income from working the midnight shift. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.